Whereas I feel like if you're just being very quiet, and then there's the sound of someone breathing in the background, it's kind of creepy and weird. So anyway, we are back for another video. I was hoping to have a schedule where I'd put a video out every Friday, but I recorded a video and I'm still trying to get my audio down. It had this weird squeak in it, and so like I had an hour of footage, and when I went to edit it, it just was complete garbage. So I wasn't able to record again until today. So my hope is to have this video done and to do another one for a Friday and just get them both done today. But considering I have recorded 3 times, 3 full videos, and I just could not get a good audio, I don't know how likely it is that I will be finishing 2 whole videos today. But and I had really wanted to try and record myself crocheting. I did like a sample one, and I thought the sound was really cool, and I don't know that I've ever seen anybody doing that kind of ASMR. I'm sure they are. Sure, people do everything. But I just thought it might be interesting, and yeah. But anyway, we will stick with this since I know it sounds pretty good, and I was happy with it the last time. So just need to not do any weird audio ticks today with this. So I was trying to think to myself, what would I talk about today? So I thought, well, I don't know. We can talk about, obviously, I don't want to talk about politics. Sure, with everything going on. So we'll keep it light. I don't know about you, but I'm a rewatcher of shows. I have a really, really hard time getting into new things. And so I had recently, while I was out sick from work, I started to rewatch Buffy, because it's always kind of like a comfort show for me. But I don't know, I found this time around I just could not get past the part where Xander leaves Anya at the altar. Like, I just physically had to turn it off. It made me so sad, and he's just such an asshole in that moment. Like, and I don't know, I just felt really sad for her, because I always really liked her character, and I think she got the short end of the stick with it. You know, obviously she goes back to being a demon afterwards, and he hates her, and he acts like it's her fault, when, I don't know, it just didn't sit right with me, and I just physically could not get through that episode, and I just started rewatching something else. And so then I was, and like, I know Buffy has its issues, of course, with Joss Whedon and stuff, but I just feel like it is you know, it's such a piece of culture from that time period. And anyway, so I stopped watching that because I just couldn't get past that part, and I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the like really Spike thing where he goes nuts and like attacks her. Like it just, that whole like section of the show is just, I don't know. I just never liked that part. I hate that part rewatching it. I feel like that with a lot of shows. It's like I have my favorite parts, and then when it gets so far, I just stop. Like I just lose interest. Oh, we're doing bubbles today, just bubbles. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they look cool, but I'm trying different stuff. Just, easy things that, make me happy just to be doing art. I feel like that's what this journey is for me, is just a way to get back to doing something regularly and kind of take back that part of myself. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I feel like that with a lot of shows. Like I get so far into them, and then certain things happen, and I just don't want to watch anymore. Like it was only recently, I think maybe a year or two ago, that I finally watched the last season of Charmed, like the original one. And like that was always a comfort show for me, that it was on when I was a kid. And it was like always on super early in the morning on TNT, like 6 or 7. So I would be getting ready for school, and you'd turn it on. And if you were on your sick day, it was like you watched that until reruns of Law and Order came on. And so anyway, I always loved that show, and even when I was home in the States, before it was on streaming, as soon as it came on at like 7 o'clock, I had it on, and my brother was making fun of me for it. Because, I don't know, you like the things you like. But yeah, I had never finished it. So I finally finished it the last season, about 2 years ago. Just not a fan. I'm not a fan of the way they ended that either. Like, their obsession with, the obsession they had with getting their lives back, this and that, and then, I don't know, I didn't love the way they treated Billy, and maybe that was the whole point. It was like they were supposed to be kind of morally gray at that stage, but the whole thing I didn't like that. So the next time I rewatched it, I just kind of stopped, I think, right before they even met Billy, because it just, I don't know, that whole storyline was just, they were just so, like, crap in it. Like, they just totally lost the pace of the show and stuff. And so I saw that Law and Order SVU came on to Netflix. So I was having a little bit of a couch day yesterday. I was supposed to have my son, but he the childminder had to switch her days around, so he went yesterday anyway. So I kind of had a free day, and I just I did a bunch of jobs, but I spent at least 2 hours on the couch, and I saw Law and Order SVU was on Netflix, so I thought, what's better than that for a couch show? But they kind of only have the later seasons, and I don't know, they're just not like as good. Like, I think my favorite Law and Order was the original one, where they have McCoy as the DA, and Lenny Briscoe. I loved shows, and we're, one kind of thing per show, and you don't know who's done it. Like, you have to figure it out. And yeah, I don't know. What do we think of these bubbles? I think they're okay. I don't know that they really look like bubbles. We will keep persevering with this because it's what I decided to draw today. So, and I am powering through this sketchbook this week. Well, not just this week, but since I started, trying to do something every day. It's really burning through it. So I said to my partner, I said I'd put that on my Christmas list to get me a few more. So like I said, I don't usually go through them so fast, but I'm just trying. Like, I feel very, I'm just at this weird kind of point in my life, and I'm just trying to kind of, I don't know, find myself, I guess. Not really find myself, I know who I am, but just do things that make me happy. And I'd like to try to avoid further burnout at work, so I thought throwing myself back into my hobbies a bit might help, so we'll see. I mean, it's relaxing, if nothing else. I've never been one for journals, but I suppose that's kind of what I'm doing with the rambling videos. Just sort of stream of consciousness. Which I was thinking, because I had done up a thing for the stories of Greek gods, and I thought to myself, I don't need to do it as like an actual story. I could do it as a rambling bit where I kind of just do it from memory and add some commentary here and there. So I don't know, maybe we'll do that next. I think my pen's about out of ink. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this so I can keep the sound in, because I think it might sound cool. So I'm just giving it a shake. I have no idea if you're supposed to shake your ink. So I'll give it a little shake. And I have a little towel next to me to set it on, because like I said in my last video, I am so paranoid about spilling ink everywhere. So you know what, I'm gonna try doing it this way. You're supposed to be able to do it without the nib. Just like put the thing down in. So I'm hoping maybe that'll get less ink everywhere. So we'll see. We'll try it this way. See if I can get it up. Yeah, no. I only filled it halfway. Let me try again. See if I can suck the ink up with this. Okay, that looks good. That looks like a nice full cartridge. I still have ink on my thumb now, but better than last time. So if anybody has any... Great, I've lost my nib. If anybody has any tips, and I mean, I should probably just Google it. I'm sure there's a way to refill these without getting ink all over yourself, but I tend to just not Google things. I just wing it. So anyway, and as an attempt to stave off my carpal tunnel, I made myself a pen grippy thing because I couldn't get one shouting information at them. Do you remember how the old ones, they used to always be like interviewing people at work, and the people would still be working and doing stuff the whole time? So, which I feel like, I don't know, I feel like cops would make you stop what you're doing. I feel like that's how they would operate. I don't know that they'd actually let you continue stocking shelves or boxes or whatever. But yeah, I remember one time I worked for this really weird pizza shop when I was a teenager. I had a lot of jobs as a teenager. I kind of just would pick something up for the spring or winter and spring, and then in the summer I was a lifeguard, and then in the fall I played soccer, so I didn't work. And like, instead of ever going back to the same job, I would just get a new one for the winter months, like every year. So one time I worked at this super weird pizza shop, like, and just when it's talking about cops is what made me think of it. This girl that worked there, I guess she had a warrant out for parking tickets, and like, the cop showed up to get her at work, and the manager was this, like, he didn't own the place, he was just the manager, but he was like so weird, and he just kind of like cracked open the register and gave the guy money, and was like, I'll take it out of your pay or whatever. I don't know why I'm telling you that story, mostly because I don't have anything else to talk about, I guess. I think I really need to come into this with some, I don't know, maybe points of conversation, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird job. It was a very, very busy place. But like, you didn't get a schedule. You just rang every day and were like, do you need me today? And 9 times out of 10, he was like, yeah. And I was like, this does not work for me. I need a schedule. I want to do things, other than work. And so I think, no, where did I go after that? I can't remember where I went after that job. Because I know I had a job at a grocer's. And like they did a lot of fresh fruit and stuff. And I would always do this. I would just stop going to the job. Like, I never actually quit anything. I was terrible like that. I don't know why I couldn't just pick up the phone and say, I don't want to work here anymore. But anyway, so I was working at this like fruit grocer place, and it was fine. Like, there wasn't anything actually wrong with it, but I got a better job waitressing. A friend of mine was waitressing, and a position came open, and of course I was like, well, I have to go do that because like, she was making it's probably not a lot now, but we were making tons in tips back then. And so anyway, I left the grocers and went to the restaurant that year and stayed on as a waitress until the summer. And I probably would have actually gone back to that job the next winter, but was almost 20 years ago. Anyway, oh my god, I really am dating myself here having this conversation. Yeah, 20 years ago. Wow. So anyway, it was maybe about 5 or 6 years ago on a trip home, I finally started going back in there to eat. Like, I just never wanted to see this man. I hated him so much. Because I was so upset over him not giving me the time off. Because it was one of the places I actually liked. It was like a fun job, and we were making good money for the age we were. But anyway, yeah, I can't remember what I did when I quit the pizza shop. But like I always worked, from, I don't know if anybody else remembers those. Well, I was living in the States at the time, and I had to go to the school's admin office and get a little work card slip when I was 15 because I don't know why. I guess you just had to have one from the school, and so you could get a job. So I did that, and I remember because the very first job I ever had was at a grocery store, and that job was fine, but I really didn't like it. It was not fast paced enough. Like a fast job, like probably one of my, besides the waitressing, probably one of my favorite jobs was the job I had in college, where I worked at a shipping company, and I drove. It was this thing called an order selector, and I loved that job. Oh my god, I loved it. You went in there, and you were just like, I was working, and the next thing you knew, your shift was over. Like, it was just so fast. And yeah, because I remember I had that job, and it was kind of like the first job I had that paid as if I was a grown-up. And I remember my mom getting really weird about would I go back to college or not, which I did, because like, it was a good job, but I didn't want to work there forever. Mostly because I saw people who worked there forever, and they were beat up. Like, you can't do manual labor for your whole life. Your back just gives out eventually, I guess. And so anyway, I did that, and I loved that job. And then I went back, because I was in college, so I stopped working, but I actually spoke to them. I didn't just stop because I wanted to go back again. So I went back for winter break, and I remember I was in a different section because they had other people driving, and I was just kind of coming in for like a few weeks on winter break. And so I was in a different department. So I was working, and I was packing clothes. So like, I just found this really, like, I would just go really fast, and I had my little computer, and I would just like jet around the place. But like, I definitely wouldn't have done well as a younger person. Probably now I'd be fine to do a job where you need to go slowly and take your time and whatever. Hands kind of going numb again. I don't know if I'll cut this out, but I don't know, maybe the sound sounds okay. Yeah, I don't know, I might try and record in my wood shop tomorrow. I've got to finish this damn fox, and I meant to do it this week, but then we were down to one car because I was driving home from work, and my car just totally it lost power, and I was on the motorway. It was very frightening, and it was very cold and very dark and raining, and so like, I rang my husband, and he was like, I don't know what to do, and I was like, I don't know what to do either. So then I thought, and he was like, well, just turn it off and see if you let it sit for a few minutes, what it does, just to try and get home. And so I ended up doing that, and it was fine. Now I pulled up to coming from the exhaust, but I don't know what happened, but I did make it home. And I thought about it after the fact that I just remembered something. I'll come back to that. I thought about it after the fact that when I was younger, I was 18. I was using my Papsol truck to get to work, and just remembered where I worked after the pizza shop anyway. But anyway, I was going up the mountain, and it was acting up, and I was like, well, I'm almost to work, and the mountain isn't a good place to stop. So I kept going, and as dads are, I was driving home, and it totally stopped. Couldn't get it to start on the side of the mountain again. And I rang my dad, of course, and he came to get me. Him and I don't know. I can't even remember if we towed it or what we did with it. I don't know how we got it off the mountain, but I know my dad showed up, and of course pissed at me, because why would I not have called him? Why would I have tried to keep going? I should have stopped it. And I thought to myself after I got home the other night, because I remember him being like, as if the reason I didn't stop was because it was not my car. I didn't own it, that it was my Paps. And I thought to myself the other night, no, I would still make that decision, because it was because I was stuck on a mountain and it was dangerous. And that was exactly what I did the other night when it was cold and raining, and I didn't want to be on the side of the motorway. And I was like, well, we'll just get home. But I suppose it's easier when you don't have to deal with your father and just yourself. And anyway, but yeah, so I just remembered I worked at a potato factory after the pizza shop. That's where I was going when my truck died that time. So, which is something, by the way, we have now established close to 20 years ago, and my father still brings it up. So, I read a good quote one day. It was from, I don't know who it was from, but it was, he said, "You'll always be a boy in your father's house." And I was like, yes, that is exactly what it feels like going home, because even now that I am 36, I just feel like I still feel like a kid when I go home, and I have my own kids there with me, and I still feel like a kid. I don't know, it's just such a weird feeling to go home again. I actually think I like the bubbles. They're giving the essence of bubbles. I think they might not be. Okay, I have readjusted the paper because it just kept slipping down. So I tightened the thing on the back of the easel. Although now now I can't really see over my mic. Which this has been such a learning curve here to get this mic to improve on my audio and whatnot. But interesting. It's an interesting thing to know how to do. So I do need to figure out what I'm supposed to be putting in the searchable stuff in the bio and everything, because I don't think I did that right the last time. But I'm hoping the audio on this is a little bit better. Even I bought a rug because someone said that what you're sitting on makes a difference notifications off the desk. So I did that, and so I don't know, I'm hoping the audio on this is even clearer. And yeah, so we'll see anyway. I'm probably gonna try and record this edit this immediately, because I hope that it's not, like, that the audio is pretty good, that it's not too polluted. I really tried to make sure I'm like the right distance away this time, and I bought this little I already had a pop filter, but I bought this like metal mesh one that's supposed to be better. I don't know. It was $15 on Amazon, so I figured might as well give it a shot. And see. So I don't know. We shall see.